What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis, Sam Claiborne, and making his first Game Scoop appearance, Seth Macy.
Hello.
Welcome, Seth. Longtime freelance writer, someone who we finally, long overdue, brought him on board. It's a full-time writer.
We put a ring on it. At the Gizmonic Institute.
We put a ring on it.
I did. Gizmonic Institute's radio.
Seth lives in Maine.
I do. Yeah.
Well, why is that so funny?
I don't know. It just is.
But you're out here in San Francisco.
I'm out here in San. Yeah, I'm not a hologram.
Yeah. We found out today that people look up cheats mostly in certain states, and the most people looking up Sims cheats are in Maine.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you explain why?
They have a much better life in SimWorld
than in people in Maine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's always you can control the weather there. Yeah.
So, Seth, favorite game of all time?
It's Mega Man 2.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah,
I just not a very usually
the second best Mega Man. So I would have said Mega Man 3, but someone told me last night I need to get on Mega Man 5. So I'm gonna.
No,
that's ridiculous. Only the Mega Man hipsters are trying to get on board with Mega Man 5.
That sounds like a. I don't even want it. That sounds like maybe like a Ryan Scott.
That's exactly what it was.
His reputation.
Mega Man 3 is actually the first game I ever bought with my own money.
I knew you were podcasting last night, and I said, what weirdo is trying to push Mega Man 5 on you? And I'm cycling through the names in my head.
That's an interesting question.
Sorry, Ryan.
What was the first game you bought with your own money?
Ooh.
I don't know if it was
I've never done that.
I think Nagano Olympics on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, good. I think we gave that a 0 here at IGN. Oh, on the Sega Genesis? No, I think it was the N64.
No, that was a 10, yeah.
That we gave
I've mooched off parents, girlfriends, and the company.
Yeah.
The first album I ever bought was Dookie. I remember that. I
wow.
vividly remember that.
That's
but I don't remember the first video game.
Green Day for our younger listeners.
Was it a tape
out there.
or a CD?
CD. First CD I bought. And the first maybe Road Rash 2 for the Genesis. That was a big one too.
I don't know if this is actually the first game I ever bought with my own money, but I did spend my allowance money on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the NES.
You've played that game?
I bought it.
I have that in the box still.
Don't ever open it.
It's really bad.
If you open it, the mystical spirits will float out and curse the world.
That game's bad, and Frankenstein's really bad. There's a couple monster games.
They're the only two bad
Toxic
NES
Crusader.
games.
Yep.
Bummer. But why are we talking about this? What happened?
Because Seth brought it up.
I just brought it up.
It's his favorite game, Mega Man 5.
Mega Man 5 is my favorite game. It's also the first game I ever
Oh,
stole.
that's the part that I missed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
We sure have a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about open world games. We're going to talk about movie tie-in video games. But first, Far Cry 5 is the best-selling game of the year so far, according to the NPD Group, and that is here in North America. And that Ubisoft sure has a thing going with early year runaway successes that sort of dominate the charts for the first half of the year until the inevitable big releases from Activision come out in the back half. So last year, For Honor came out the gates in February.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise hit, though.
It's a surprise hit, and then Ghost Recon was the best-selling game of the year, I think, all the way until Destiny 2
that was it.
came out in September.
I don't know why more companies haven't caught on to this since DLC is just out there and accepted now as a thing that you expect in most AAA games. That release your game early, get those DLC drops throughout the year, and then around holiday season, catch a second wave when that game gets discounted to $30.
We thought we'd be playing Red Dead by now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I actually wanted to bring that up. Red Dead's coming out this October. Of course, every month to month, GTA 5 is still in the NPD list.
Top 5.
I am certain, we know Red Dead Redemption is going to be a huge hit, but there's no way it could be as big a hit as GTA 5, right?
No. I don't think so.
There's no way.
No.
Well, it's not on PC right away, so.
But to be as
that's
huge,
a big problem.
To be as huge hit as GTA 5 means that it would be with the biggest game ever of all time, like in terms of traditional, I think like Tetris and like Minecraft and stuff. But I think GTA 5 is now the best-selling traditional AAA Hollywood style game ever.
Yeah, there was a time where every new PlayStation and every new Xbox that was sold also sold a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know if that's still the case, but.
Well, they managed to get people I've bought that game twice now.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common. They get people a couple times.
I bought it 3 times.
I've received it free several times. I think that if they add cell phone cheats to Red Dead Redemption, it might do as well as GTA.
Telegraph.
Our wiki page would be Telegraph cheats. That may be
Morse code cheats.
Takes 11
I don't know if they
minutes
had Morse
to input
code
each one.
in the Old West. They
Yes.
probably they did.
Yeah.
Right around the Civil War and post-Civil War, there were stations, but maybe not in the West.
It was like Western Union, right? That was the whole thing.
They definitely get telegrams in Westerns.
That's a scoop, Jim.
I'm going to say there is a 50% chance that there are telegram cheats in Red Dead.
50%?
Yeah, I think that's really clever and funny.
Well, there could be now. Maybe you just influenced it.
Yeah.
There's no way to know. We could save this episode till after it comes out.
Let's go ahead and bank this episode until
That means we
into
can
the
start
vault.
swearing
October. I don't know why can we swear?
because we'd have more time to censor it.
But if this is airing in
yes.
the future, should we put on like our future clothes, like our
Yes. Let's
apocalypse
go
gear?
get our future
Throw our
clothes.
Riker beards.
Yeah, our Riker beard.
Everything's terrible.
It's horrible here. Go back.
For the past couple of years, Call of Duty has been the best-selling game of the year. Every year I wonder, is this the year where Call of Duty is not? And I wonder now, again, is this the year that Call of Duty is not the best-selling game of the year?
Red Dead will be the best-selling game of the year. Red Dead's going to be an
calling it.
overwhelming success, but just not
Even more, yeah.
not like the GTA 5 realm.
But it's not on
which is a
PC.
complete- but it will be in a year, I think.
You think so? Because the original one still isn't.
But GTA was.
They
waited
but they
a year.
announced
It was like a
it
year and a half.
originally to coming to PC, and then they just sat on it for a year to make it work.
I mean, I'm just sitting
It'll
here
stay
making
close.
stuff up as I go. My guess is that Red Dead comes out on PC a year after it comes out on
I would
console.
love it on PC. Absolutely.
Well, the mods alone would be
Yeah.
so good. Got to get Macho Man in there.
As your horse.
Yeah.
Yes, the horse would be good, and the cell phone cheats.
Yeah.
Yep.
They could mod cell phone cheats. It's true. Also from March's MPD results, Sea of Thieves did very well. Sea of Thieves was number 2 in March. But what's interesting about that is that is available to everyone who has Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. Yeah. But it's totally unclear whether or not those
Surely that's not the NPD numbers because NPD is tracking like retail sales.
Yeah, they only
digital
track-
sales.
and digital sales.
It's like Walmart.
Yeah, but
It
that's-
includes digital sales for Sea of Thieves, people who just outright bought the game.
right. I
And
don't.
he only
haven't-
tracks revenue.
NBA also tracks revenue. Yes, you're right. So it's like
I
they
don't think
could
it's on
include
Game
that.
Pass.
They could.
Okay.
I'm just saying they haven't come out and been upfront with said whether they are or aren't
Sure.
or not.
Maybe their numbers are just made up.
So maybe we should just take over for MPD then.
That's what I'm suggesting. And by we I mean Game Scoop,
Yeah.
not IG.
So Game Scoop
Right.
says
Us.
it's the best-selling game of the year.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves being number 2 is impressive because it's a console exclusive. So, for
exclusive.
only reaching Xbox One gamers, good for Rare.
Yeah.
It's the best-selling Rare game that they've ever tracked. So
Yeah.
In month 1.
Sea of
Yeah.
Thieves.
No, like,
generated-
period.
Here's a quote from MPD. Sea
Well,
of Thieves
yeah,
generated the
debut.
highest,
Sorry.
the highest launch month sales for any title produced by developer Rare since tracking by the MPD group began in 1995. So maybe Taboo for the NES would have made that.
Yeah, or Snake, Rattle, and Roll.
I was going to say RC
probably.
Pro-Am. We were all making the same joke.
Did they do Wizards and Warriors?
No, that's a claim.
Yeah.
But
Well.
they
They made that weird cowboy game.
Rare did?
Yeah.
what, so-
I only remember it from Rare Replay. The isometric one. I don't know.
I don't think that was on NES though, right?
I don't know.
Probably one of the
Yeah.
weird computer games.
Yeah.
They made that boat game, Clash of Demon Head.
No.
Is that what it's called?
Well, Clash of Demon Head is not a boat game and not a Rare game.
What's the boat game called?
Cobra Triangle.
Cobra Triangle.
Yeah, that is an incredibly hard game.
Clash of Demon Head.
That's also a hard game, but
Yeah, it's very obvious.
What is Clash of Demon Head? I'm very aware of what Cobra Triangle.
There's an overworld map where you pick which levels you go to, and then I think you have to like get items that'll open new areas.
Oh,
but it's
okay,
like
so
really
the name
confusing.
is completely accurate.
The way you just described that is every video game. You just described God of War.
Yeah,
There's
well,
a pause
I mean,
menu.
Corey Barlog has said
Gameplay.
he considers God of War the spiritual successor to Clash of Demon Head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. What's
know
the
what?
spiritual successor to Cobra Triangle? There's not enough boat games.
Not enough boat
Hydro
games.
Thunder?
True.
GTA 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Hydro Thunder. I haven't thought about that in a while.
You know what also did well in March was Kirby Star Allies on the Switch.
Sure.
Came
The
and went.
fourth best-selling game of March, launch month sales setting a new franchise record. Consumer spending for Kirby Star Allies was over 90% higher in its launch month when compared to the franchise's previous bestseller launch month, Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, which was released on the Game Boy Advance in 2002.
I mean, we talked about it. I mean, I think it's been many months, but it was a scoop topic a long time ago about these games that keep getting ported to 3DS. Like, why are these weird random games coming out on 3DS? It's because they all sell millions of copies.
Switch game.
This is a Switch game.
I know, but like I'm just saying Nintendo, sorry, to make my point, is like when a console sells well, like it just lifts, like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like you can make a Kirby game that like Brendan Graber, our reviewer, actually liked it a lot, but the general consensus is game's fine. Like it's fine. But since the Switch is such a
played it?
smash hit, it just, you know, it's almost impossible to fail if you release a big first party Switch game at this point.
Those are some deep Kirby stats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so
Surprised Nintendo's tracking.
right out the gate, the best-selling Kirby game since Nightmare in Dreamland.
I don't even know what that game is.
I don't think I played that one.
No.
I don't think I played a Kirby on Advance.
You played the DS one. Everybody played.
Well, wait, which is Nightmare in Dreamland?
It was on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
GBA.
I've never played a GBA Kirby game. It's pretty cool.
I missed that too. This is the last week of April. Is that right? Next.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Next Friday is May the 4th.
Next Friday is May the 4th, when I think solo tickets will go on sale.
That's probably
So
a
everybody-
safe bet.
Yeah.
Just set your alarms
I'm just
in
saying.
order to just snooze it and sleep in.
I'm going to buy my tickets.
I'll see Solo.
I am
No,
not
I'm not
gonna-
gonna
Oh,
go
yeah.
with Solo.
You're just not going to see it,
I'm not going to see it.
but you're seeing Avengers.
I am, yeah. Seeing it Sunday.
Anyway, it will be very interesting. You know, MPD results are a couple weeks delayed for the month. So in 2 weeks or so, we'll get April's MPD results. It'll be interesting to see where God of War shakes out.
I wonder where it will
Maybe
be.
Kirby beat it.
Maybe Kirby.
I think the interesting thing about God of War is single player adventures. You know, are they dead? That was the big controversy with EA, you know, canceling Star Wars. And it's God of War is going to set the ceiling. I think this is
The ceiling.
This is going to show us how high. This is the best possible case scenario for a single player only, you know, adventure that doesn't have any loot boxes.
But it's not
doesn't
on
have
multiple
anything.
systems. It's
That's
just
the
an
thing.
issue.
That's okay. Good point. Console exclusive. Yeah,
If
you got
Red
me
Dead
there.
doesn't have online, then that'd be a good.
I just think if this game sells, you know, whatever, 10 million copies on PS4, like there is no single player only adventure game that will sell more than that on the PS4, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everybody owns a PS4. Will probably buy that game.
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
they use it for
what about-
NBA or something.
What about Last of Us Part 2?
I think it's going to outsell Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
I don't know, because you guys know that The Last of Us is like the most popular game ever with our audience.
Yeah, that's true. But I think there's been like a longer tail of God of War games across so many consoles that maybe
true.
it has more people that know about it.
I mean, God of War
There was
1,
that
2,
mobile game.
Yeah, there was that mobile. I always thought Kratos was like,
PSP
you know,
games.
a little bit dumb and cheesy. Like, I don't have any affinity for him as like a character, but he was like a beloved, big first party, you know, icon for like a decade that they brought back and resurrected in spectacular fashion. Like, Last of Us deserves its Game of the Year accolades and its praise, but it doesn't have that same like cultural cachet that like, you know, Kratos and God of War do.
Yeah, I think the people in our office that really like that game, I don't know if you feel this way too, like it because of its connection to the previous games and like how that develops. And like even if you didn't really like the old God of War games and call them your favorite games ever, it's still fun to see like how it connects to them. And I think that actually was played up a lot more than people thought. I know our reviewer really liked that.
Yeah,
You've beaten it, Justin.
I have.
Are you still playing it?
A little.
a little.
Well, I'm mainly catching up on Marvel movies now in the evenings.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm still playing it. There's really surprisingly good and beefy post game stuff to work your way through in that game.
I'm still playing through it. Sam is still playing through it. Seth, are you playing God of War?
Haven't played it yet.
We drug them out here to San Francisco instead.
Yeah.
It is. I was telling you before that. I was saying last week on the show that I'm, you know, a little bit of a hater sometimes. There's not a lot of modern AAA.
Pessimist. Let's just go with pessimist.
Just not a lot of modern AAA games that really grab me and keep my attention. I have a tendency to kind of bounce from game to game. But God of War, man, goodness gracious. I completely agree with the 10 out of 10. Absolutely one of the best games of this generation.
Godness gracious. Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Brian E. in Keene, New Hampshire did.
Hey, New
Yeah.
England.
Yeah.
Right on.
Do you know Brian E?
Yeah.
Go
Go
get it.
muddin'.
There has been much discussion lately among the Omega Cops about how we're all getting older and as life gets more and more intrusive on our game time, games keep getting bigger and bigger. So I'm curious to hear your take on a recent problem I've had with open world games, exploration versus story. I recently purchased God of War, and over the course of a long Saturday spent indoors was able to finish the story. I felt it was very satisfying and enjoyed it immensely, but of course, doing so skipped a lot of exploration and side quests. But now that I'm finished with the main story, the eagerness to continue playing, despite it being a phenomenal game, has waned a bit. On the flip side, I dove into Far Cry 5 and Monster Hunter World, trying to do anything and everything in such a small amount of time that not only did I get burned out on both games, but eventually ran out of time with other releases that came out. So my question is, do you find it easier to explore an open world game 100% prior to completing it, or blitz through the main storyline and then fill in the bits and pieces afterwards? Curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, what were the 2 games you said you played besides that? It's Monster Hunter and
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say those games don't have great exploration. And maybe that's why he's burning
How
out.
about Far Cry 5?
Yeah, I didn't play that one.
Oh.
Is the exploration like?
I think it's fun to wander around. Just things that you're
Is that the
very
like, the
easy to
thing
get
about it?
distracted. Yeah.
That's good.
Crazy stuff is
For
happening.
me, Far Cry games, I like parts of the exploration, but I'm not going to 100% it because it's so samey.
Far Cry was clever in the sense that you had to cause a certain amount of chaos and like make your own path before new story missions would unlock.
But you don't want to go like hunt down all the fish or whatever.
But like you could,
Some people might. I didn't care to.
That's what I'm saying. I think we want to do that in certain games a lot more than others because they're better at it. And I think Breath of the Wild is really good at that, and then other games aren't. And I don't think God of War is good at it at all. I think the exploration is bad in that game. But the playing through the game is fun.
Yes, I would. But God of War
You have
is
to get in a boat. You have to like walk through little passages. It's unclear what puzzles you can do early.
But I wouldn't.
It's not good.
God of War is not like a fully open world game, though, right?
yeah.
It's not like open like Breath of the Wild.
But it
or
has
even like a
open
Far Cry
world
5.
elements in the sense that you can go to this area to do collectibles. That's what you do in it. And the fact that they put that in is a little confusing to me because I feel like you could have just storied through that game and gotten a great experience out of it. But I'm distracted by it just like this guy is.
There's generally speaking, there's a million exceptions to this rule, but it's a general rule of thumb. I'm anti-side mission and anti-collectible.
I think that's what make you enjoy a game like Uncharted or God of War a lot more than a person like me who's like, all I want to do is probe every corner of this world and see everything.
So there's certain games that are renowned.
Prober.
I'm a
prober.
Probotector.
Games
That's
like
called Contra in some other countries.
That's a scoop, Jim.
Witcher 3 and God of War, I think is up there too. Renowned for their side quests. They're really good. I think God of War is gonna develop over time as people dig into this side content. But
You didn't play it, right? I think it's bad. Like the side content's bad in that game.
I don't think so.
You didn't play it. That's all I've been playing.
No, I played a ton of it.
Oh no, you do. I'm sorry.
I'm doing all the optional bosses.
Yeah, the post game stuff. That stuff's really good, right?
Are you talking about God of War or
Yes,
Witcher?
God of
He beat God of War.
Yeah, I know.
So
But he said he played through it, straight, and then
now he's been going back.
going back.
It-
I'm
so-
saying I'm getting hung up like on the way,
Yeah,
that way of playing.
I mean, I think, I wouldn't recommend doing that. My thing is I'm anti-side mission generally because even in games where the side missions are good, they're not as good as the main quest. They're side missions. That's like the definition of like, it's not part of the main narrative that got obviously the bulk of the development time and the voice acting and the mocap work and the cutscenes and like all the big action set pieces where all the budget and the millions of dollars and years of development went into that critical path content. Like
I think Fallout does the side quests. Like those are the ones that distract you because maybe they put more time into those and they don't even know what the main quest is or something.
Well, and then the highest praise anyone can ever level on a side quest is like, oh, it almost felt like I was on a main story mission. That's how good that side quest was. And I was like, just don't do them then. Like, just do the best stuff.
Yeah.
Seth, what do you think?
I mean, I pretty much approach open world games. I advance the story enough to open everything up, and then I never go back. Like I've never beaten Skyrim, I've never beaten Fallout, I've never beaten Witcher, but I have like 1,000 hours combined into all of those games. Same with Grand Theft Auto 5. I've bought it 3 times. I've never beaten it. I've just gotten far enough where I can fly a jet and like crash into cars with it. So.
Yeah, in terms of whether I'm focusing on story missions or side missions, I guess it depends on how much I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Like if it's a game I'm really enjoying, I want to make it last as long as possible. So I will stall on the story missions while I go and explore story missions or side missions. But if the game is, I think, just kind of like okay, then I'll just try to mainline through the story.
Like Wolfenstein was like that, right? I think we played that differently, where I started doing all those side missions.
Yeah, I didn't do any of those. Like I liked Wolfenstein, but to me, it's not like top tier game. It's something I kind of just want to play through and enjoy. And
I just can't. I'm such a completionist when I play these that like I can't do that. So like for God of War, like I feel like I have to go back and explore these big areas every time I have something new, and I'm like, am I really getting like the best out of this game? Like I don't think so. But I can't take it back. I can't like go back and say, now I'm just going to play it for the story alone and play right through it.
God of War is a little bit of a special case since it's Metroidvania-y in the sense that you unlock new abilities that recontextualize old areas of the game. And so in that sense, you can make a big. I have this ability now. I can make a big loop through the game and do stuff I couldn't do before. Then do that a second time and a third time. But it may make more sense to wait until you have every ability, and then you don't need to run up to an area where like, oh well, I can't do this section of the game.
Yeah,
like
I wish I would have known that going in, because it really is making it so now I'm like, I feel like I've retreaded too much, and I'm like constantly rowing to the same place. But I feel like I was doing it to get more powerful, which is like a good feeling.
Yeah.
But then I hear everybody else's experience, and everybody in the office just shot straight to the end of that game.
That's what I did. Well, I was worried about spoilers too.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I think a lot of people in the office got it early, and there's a desire to be one of the first people to see the end.
Yeah.
You know,
But
that's part
that'll
of it.
taint your impression of a game then, you know?
taint.
I mean,
Probe and taint.
I think I sort of have, in the same way, like side missions aren't quite as good as the main story missions. Like another concentric circle out from that is like collectibles are usually not quite as good as even the side missions.
yeah.
So it's like, that's why I don't bother. It has this knock-on effect where like collecting the ravens in God of War is horrible. Like it's not fun. If you're using like a checklist or a map, like a guide, like it might be fun to sort of tick them off one by one, but it's not fun finding them all on your own. And so then it has this knock-on effect of like, well, if I'm not going to do that, why should I bother finding all the chests? And if I'm not going to get all the chests, why should I even bother doing these side quests that are not as good as the main quest? And so then I usually just stop playing the game.
You don't think that's a knock against it being like a really good game though, because you can ignore it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not trying to. Again, like God of War is one of my favorite games of this gen, but
But it has a bunch of stuff you don't want to play in it.
I think collectibles are bloat, and especially if like I always come back
Those
to the
Koroks.
example of I got 499 orbs in Crackdown and never found the 500th one.
Really?
And I'm still salty about it to this day.
You got to one?
Yeah.
Really?
And there's no, like, any game that has, like, a large number, like dozens and dozens or 100 of something scattered around the map, but doesn't give you some way of, like, once you're down to the final 5 or whatever, like, some way of being, like, it's in this area at least. Like, it's in that, what is it, Lake of the Nine or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Like, here's the region of the map. It's in some way to narrow down that search. There's 2 ravens left in the whole game. Like, that's horrible. That's designed for looking things up in a FAQ or a guide.
Yeah.
Which
Thanks for
IGN
that.
has for you.
Yeah. Good plug.
All right, moving on. This is Chris from Texas. He says, I'm a huge fan of the show. Wanted to give a shout out to all of you for your awesome work every week. As for my question, all of this Infinity War hype has got me thinking about the good old days of movie tie-in games like Spider-Man 2, Iron Man, and even that one random Pacific Rim fighting game. Iron Man. What are some of your favorite tie-in games, and what would be one that you would love to see willed into existence?
Do you guys remember that Iron Man game? It was for 360.
It was bad, though.
It had like we gave it
by
like a 7 or
Sega.
8.
So
It was bad, but it had like some good flying segments and it looked really good at the time. Like King Kong, remember how that was like a tie-in that like just looked. Those games sometimes had like an edge in graphics, which were really cool. I think we're kind of past that era.
I think Aladdin on the Sega Genesis, obviously.
Yeah, never the Super Nintendo.
And then Chronicles of Riddick. Although I don't know if that really counts as a movie.
I never
tie-in.
played that.
Is it not?
looks so good.
Well, I mean,
It
it's,
had,
sort of, it's like a complimentary. Like it was one of the first games that I can recall that wasn't like play the story of the movie, but it was like.
But like, isn't Vin Diesel?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it was a tie-in. Like they're complimentary stories. Like it's.
Yeah, I think that counts though as a movie tie-in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not based on a specific movie, but it's like
I just think
tied to that cinematic world.
that's the first example I can think of that it's not just kind of like. Level 1 is the first 10 minutes.
What
of
about
the movie.
Goonies 2?
I had Gremlins 2 on the NES. It's horrible.
That was a great game. I played that.
Oh
to
man,
completion.
Point counterpoint.
Yeah, I loved the Gremlins.
Maybe
2
you're
game.
thinking of Gremlins 1.
I had Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Yeah, on the same cartridge.
Yep.
How did they fit 2 movies on one NES card?
That's also horrible.
Well, there were.
Well, I was going to ask if there was a single good movie tie-in game on NES, but now we know. It's
No,
Gremlins.
Gremlins 2 is a great game.
Friday the 13th.
Does Ninja Turtles count?
Yeah, TMNT.
That wasn't a movie tie-in.
Yeah, it's
Time. It was
Oh,
yeah,
what about was
cartoon
Sunsoft
tie-in.
Batman? Was that tied in with the movie?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think
the
so.
second one was more tied into the movie because of the Joker in it.
Oh, okay.
Revenge of the Joker. That one wasn't very good.
Joker's not in the original Sunsoft Batman NES.
I don't think so. It's
How can
branded in the second one. No, maybe it is in the first Sons of Batman. I'm thinking of the Nintendo Power cover, and I think he's in it.
It's like the awkward thing where like now, nothing major, but like minor Infinity War plot points were spoiled by the toys. And so these companies have to be careful. Like game development is so lengthy and complex now that like if you actually wanted to make like a true tie-in game, like, the Spider-Man Homecoming 2, the game, it's going to, have the same villains as the movie. like they're unwilling to give up that level of early access. Like here's the villain and his design and what cities it's going to take place in. And like a team of 500 people would need to know that 3 years early to get the game made.
Yeah.
Like
Star Wars is still doing it.
sort
They're
of.
the only people.
But you can actually tell sometimes that they're working off of like the Force Awakens game is like seems
Wait,
like
which game?
The Lego one.
Lego
Sorry,
Force
it felt like they were kind of taking their best guess at like here's what we think this
Yeah, I
movie's
like
going to
that
be.
feeling.
I mean, laser swords probably.
Yeah.
They know like the planets, the names, like a little bit of a plot outline.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Years before Logan gave us an actual representation of what Wolverine's like in the comics, there was a Wolverine video game.
Yep.
Just called Wolverine.
Yeah, for NES.
2007. No, not for NES.
Oh,
For,
no,
like
Have
Xbox.
you played the NES one? There's a
Xbox
button to
360.
make your claws.
I remember
Yeah.
Wolverine. Yeah, it was fine.
But it was like a 7 for a game, but it was finally cool. He actually was like violent and would kill people and stab people in the head and cut their heads off. And Hugh Jackman lended his voice to the game too, so it was cool.
Same era had the Warriors game.
There's a Warriors game from Rockstar.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a Die Hard trilogy arcade game that's really dope.
Die Hard
Whoa,
trilogy
really?
in arcade. Did
Yeah.
that ever
Like
come
a
to console?
brawler?
That
I played the
like-
PS1 Die Hard trilogy
It
a
switched.
lot.
It switched genres. It was.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like early 2000s maybe.
and then of course GoldenEye.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, duh.
It's so much better than the movie.
I was gonna say it's a game that I enjoyed more than the movie.
That's unusual, right?
yeah.
I feel like GoldenEye is
the
one of the
answer is
rare
stuff like
instances where, like, if you say, I mean, I guess we're gamers, so maybe we're a little biased, but if you say the word GoldenEye, I think like that game comes to mind
Yeah.
in just like popular
Instead of
consciousness
movie,
more
yeah.
than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That and like Fight Club the movie supersedes the book.
yeah.
And the game.
That's right. There was a game,
Right.
A fighting game.
Yeah.
Wow,
Bad.
like
I think
when-
Fred Durst was in
Yep.
that game.
What
What,
in the
it's
game?
Just
Yep.
It's like
one-on-one
Fight
fights?
Club. It's the
Like Brad
movie,
Pitt
the
versus
game.
Fred
It's
Durst?
also just a fighting game, which completely misses the point of Fight Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh wow. What like when was that time? Like 360 era? I can't even remember when that game came out.
Yeah, I think so.
It was like awkwardly after the movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, several
'Cause the
years
movie
after
was
the movie. The
98?
movie was like, like PlayStation 1 era, PlayStation 2.
First truly good movie tie-in game was probably Tron, the arcade game.
Tron's so good. Do we still have Tron in the office?
Yeah, it's just been broken for a while.
I don't think it's plugged in. And
This
then
of Tron, the sequel to it.
yeah, but I don't think I've ever played that one.
Oh, it's really neat.
Well, but which came first, Tron the arcade game or the Star Wars? Arcade
Tron came first.
that Star Wars arcade
and
game
then
was
speaking
phenomenal.
of the Star Wars arcade,
Yeah.
that was 83, and Tron was 82.
Who made Tron?
It was made by Bally, so through Disney. So it says Disney Studios and Bally on it.
It's just like what great game design.
Yeah, Bally Midway. It is cool, and like it's a anthology game.
Yep.
Which is unusual. That and Gorf at the time were like the only games that did stuff. Like
Gorf was like the first one, right? To like sort of
Probably
switch
like I don't
screens
know
and
the
have
history of that, but
Gorf has a boss fight, I think.
yeah. And those really
early
directly
boss.
led to like Mario Brothers, right? Like having Super Mario Brothers having like, some kind of progression. Donkey Kong, has 4 screens, but
That's true.
they're not 4 different like games. And you'd put in your quarter and be like, oh, I'm actually playing Space Invaders and Missile Command all in the same
Yeah.
game,
Yeah, that's cool. Star Wars is kind of a special case because there's been so many games that are movie tie-ins, but I would be remiss if I didn't recommend what's Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader
Oh, it's so good. The
on
GameCube game.
GameCube.
But do you think that counts as a movie tie-in?
I mean, it's you play through the battles from the movies,
That's
right?
true. That's true. Yeah, it is like an anthology of.
But it's interesting to do what you did with Riddick and say like, what are the games that came out alongside the movie? Like they were only
That
there to
Matrix
hype
game. Wasn't that like a
Path of Neo?
complimentary story
Path
of the
of
Matrix?
Neo,
Yeah,
or like-
yeah.
I mean, there was a whole MMO, right?
Yeah.
Really? I don't remember that at all.
There's Enter
Matrix
the Matrix
Online.
is the one.
Into the Matrix.
There was a few of them.
Yeah, there was a couple of tries at a Matrix video game. And then what about Knights of the Old Republic? Is that a movie tie-in game?
No.
I was trying to work through that in my head.
There was Lord of the Rings tie-in games for every Lord of the
Oh,
Rings
dude,
movie.
everyone. I feel like the soft spot, like universally, people have a soft spot. They're like, I know this game's not good,
Yeah.
but I really like the Two Towers.
Two
on
Great
Towers.
PS2.
memories. I have great memories of playing that. Even Fellowship
memories
was fun.
playing
I didn't
Yeah.
play the Return of the King one.
They're all the same. Yeah, Return of the King's
It's like
fine.
kind of a vaguely RPG-like walk through it.
Yeah,
game.
that Two Towers game is good. Like it's bad good. I don't know how to describe it. It's weird.
Remember,
just like
those
a-
looked amazing.
Because
for
there were a
the
lot of
time.
enemies on screen at one time, right?
Yeah, just like they're really well designed just graphically. They used assets probably from the movie and just, low res them.
But KOTOR was set in a world that was established by a movie, but not directly to any
Because it wasn't,
movie.
because like what was out at the time? Phantom Menace?
Well, Knights of the Old Republic,
Ish,
that
yeah.
Old Republic era has never been seen on screen.
So I'm just trying to work through in my mind. So that's why it's not a movie tie-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was extended universe, and now I think it's Legends.
Interesting. Yeah.
NES also had The Untouchables and Platoon.
That's right.
Those are actual NES games based on very adult movies.
Platoon has an excellent soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the soundtrack's like crazy.
It's all CCR.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they take like the Fogarty hits and
No.
8-bitify them?
It's like it's not music from the movie. It's an original soundtrack that's really good. Wow. What about the Middle Earth Shadow of games?
Those are pretty good, but they have not.
They set
tie-in though.
I think they're actively run away. I don't think they have the movie license.
Well, they have the orc look. Is that it?
and the Gollum of the movies.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think it's not Andy Serkis.
No, but it's a sound alike.
And
He looks like the
compared to
Gollum
that
of-
Hobbit game. Remember that?
yeah, there is this awkward thing with any Lord of the Rings game where they don't have the movie license, but that's all anybody cares about. So they get like as close to it as they can be. Like, no, this isn't the Gollum from the movies. This is the Gollum from the books.
Right. But he sounds like the Gollum of the movies.
Yeah, they actually maybe they may have gotten a little too close to the line on that one. And maybe they do have the movie license, but I'm sure they don't. Otherwise, they'd lean way harder into that, right?
Yeah, I think that's why they have to call them Shadow of and Middle Earth Shadow of
Instead of Lord of the Rings.
instead of Lord of the Rings.
Finally, there's 2015's Mad Max, which was not directly tied into the movie, but includes a lot of the visual elements and enemy types from the movie.
From not the most.
Does that have the
From
still?
most
Does that have the
from
still guys?
Fury Road. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They're in the game?
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's like, it's closely related to that movie. It's definitely set in the sort of the same world.
Oh, they had those still guys. They have the guitar guy?
No, Guitar Guy's not in.
I feel like in like 2000 to 2010, like if you were putting out a big movie, you put out a game to promote that movie, and
like
that
a
was like
soundtrack,
guaranteed.
Is there
Yeah,
a Catwoman
like a
game?
soundtrack. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, there is. It's exactly like that. So, and then not only would you put that out, but you'd put it out on every system possible. So there'd be a GBA version of the game, and also, PS2, PS, even sometimes across console generations.
I actually have the GBA version of Lord of the Rings. I don't know where it came from. It just appeared in my house.
Yeah, they made up
That's
for
what
that.
everyone
too.
has one of
What
those
are
in a drawer somewhere in the that they just
Those are
discover one day.
isometric, maybe.
I actually have never played it because I put it in and I turned invisible and I saw, ghosts everywhere. So
Yes, put it down.
All right, this is Jamar from Lakeland, Florida. He says, "What's up, Omega Cops? Longtime listener, love the show. It's the only gaming show I make sure I catch every week.
Good.
I'm starting a game room and want to have all the consoles, not the bad ones, but the good ones.
Okay.
Give me your guys' top 5 consoles and the one game to play on it before the PlayStation era."
ooh,
So it's actually a little bit of a struggle to come up with 5
that's
worthwhile consoles before PlayStation, I think.
So we can all agree on NES, SNES, and Genesis.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are the others?
Yeah.
I was maybe TurboGrafx 16. 'Cause
yeah.
it's
If
kinda
you
like
get
a
the
novelty.
one.
the little television one,
The,
little
Turbo
handheld version,
Express?
yeah, the Turbo
Turbo
Express,
Express.
that thing was awesome.
And does Game Boy work?
It lasts like 7 minutes.
Game Boy is
on
important.
battery.
That's a good.
I mean,
call.
sure.
does it
I was thinking more like
Yeah, console.
TV, home consoles. But yeah, it's like I
I
don't
think you can skip Atari and Intellivision and ColecoVision now because they're just not great
fun.
fun games. But they're really like the manuals are really cool and the art's really cool and the
Yeah.
history's really cool. But like you don't need to like plug those in, and have people over and play
We've
them.
talked many times. Like the further back you go into video gaming history, you get diminishing returns on how much fun the games are to play today.
Yeah.
And I think even a lot of NES games are still kind of like they're a little too
Yeah.
16 bits is
they're
the
like
sweet spot.
basic
Yeah.
Bs for us today. But yeah, you gotta have a Super Nintendo, Genesis, NES. I think the TurboGrafx 16 is really cool because I had it growing up and you could play Splatterhouse on it.
I'm trying to think about TurboGrafx. Like, what could you get there that's like hard to get and play? Like, the Bonk games have been ported to
Those
others.
those
games,
cool
yeah.
pinball games, the Alien Storm.
and the other one, the
Alien-
Demon something.
Alien Crush and Devil's Crush.
Yes.
Devil's Crush. That's right.
Those are neat. Yeah, the Bonk Continuum is always good.
It's a very cool Ninja Gaiden ripoff called Ninja Spirit, I think, for TurboGrafx, and some cool shoot 'em ups like
Bomberman?
Blazing Lasers,
Blazing Lasers is so good.
Arrow Blasters is on there too. Yeah.
Air Zonk.
Well, yeah, that's the
yeah.
Bonk spinoff. Yeah, but
Is that a
shooter.
Now that Jared Petty's
game?
No,
Yeah,
shooter.
No.
Shooter.
You need to get Jared back in here to record another. What was your Let's Play series?
Holy Chip.
Holy Chip.
We got 2 episodes in.
You got to do episode 3 of Holy Chip. The people demand it.
Yeah.
What is that about TurboGrafx?
Yeah. We were going to play through the entire library of Turbo Chip cards, of which there are only like 92 released. But I did some fuzzy math and figured out in order to make this work, be worthwhile, we need to get like 12,000 views
Oh man.
on each video. And so
I love the contract you have with your audience.
It took us a long time to get through 12,000 views on the first episode, but when we did, we shot the second episode, and then Jared left.
They don't film another episode until the previous one gets 12,000 views. So if it gets there in a day, you do another one.
Yeah.
But if it gets there in a year, then
That's a good business model.
have you checked it lately?
No, I haven't checked it lately.
It's almost.
But now that Jared's a free agent,
Yeah.
I told him he wanted
Did
to
you
start
guys
up.
buy the games?
I told Jared I'd be willing to sell the Holy Chip name to him.
Oh.
I like
Oh,
it.
wow.
I'm open to that. This is Noah from Colorado. He says, in the years since digital games became a thing, there has been many wonderful indie games, but I've largely ignored them. I take a closed-minded approach to games and just continue playing only AAA releases, but I think it's high time I fix this and expand my horizons a little. So for someone new to the indie scene, what are the games I have to check out?
I mean, what even? I don't know what.
Shovel
I
Knight.
think I'm on any platform.
But like, I don't understand. Like, does Meat Boy count as indie? Like, where?
Yeah. So, yeah,
Okay,
it's
well,
made
of
by two dudes.
Yeah.
Well,
Cave Story
yeah,
is
Super Meat Boy.
excellent. I highly recommend everyone check that one out. It's on Switch now. It's the
made
best
by
way to
one
play it,
person.
actually.
It's like, yeah, it's hard to whittle down. Again, like the best indie games you should just check out. But I have mentioned Splunky many times here on this show. That was made by a very small team, and that is a 2D platforming roguelike game where every time you play it, it's totally different. The simple goal is just to make it to the end of the 4 worlds, but there's like all these different game systems and different types of enemies. So every time you load up a run, everything's refreshed and it's totally new. And then there's all these secrets that are in there to find too. Many, many different levels to that.
If you like it, then play Rogue Legacy.
Also, Rogue Legacy is a great 2D platforming roguelike.
Those work so well, like right next to each other.
Yeah, for sure. Rogue Legacy is more of like a Ghosts and Goblins vibe, whereas Spelunky is more of like an Indiana Jones vibe.
Rogue Legacy is also a lot nicer to you as the player.
Yeah, because there is some sort of persistent progression, whereas Spelunky you start out from 0 every time.
So yeah, Shovel Knight, and then
Shovel Knight,
what was the other one? He's Cave Story.
Cave Story, I would say
some of the best games ever made.
FTL. I have
But we gotta tell a little
maybe
bit, like,
one of my top.
Shovel Knight is also a
games.
2D platformer
Yeah.
with a pixel art style.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just really, really good
fine.
one. Yeah.
It's a Mega Man 2 like.
Yeah.
Cave Story is a
Fails, like.
Metroidvania-like.
It has an incredible soundtrack. It's fantastic. If you get it on Switch, you can change like which soundtrack it uses because there's like multiple ones.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Hotline Miami is up there.
All I Am is a cool game. There's 2 of those.
It's a
Top-down, hack and slash
It's like
beat
a
'em up
puzzle
shooter.
brawler or something. Like you have to act so quickly and.
Well,
kind
there's
of
really a
solve.
puzzle element to it, but there's
You
like,
replay the thing over and over.
it's like
again.
smart combat.
Yeah.
I think they're puzzly in the sense of like, you turn right and just get destroyed. And it's like, well, no, I need to take a different route.
There's
through
like a
this.
little path you have to learn.
I would say Darkest Dungeon's up there for me.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was gonna
everybody
mention that.
loves
That's
that
a more recent game, and that's like a turn-based strategy roguelike. Man, there's a lot of roguelike indie games with a very cool, like moody vibe and atmosphere.
If you like puzzle games, I think, Zachtronics is making the best puzzle games in the business with stuff like Opus Magnum and stuff like Infiniminer and Space Chem.
I don't know about these games.
I
These
think
are-
And
these
then
mobile
basically
games?
all story-based adventure games are still indie. So
Like
you
what?
have like all of the
Oxenfree?
Thimbleweed Park,
yeah,
Oxenfree.
Oxenfree is a good and what's the one called Thimbleweed Park?
Yeah.
Those are like old classic adventure games. Those are basically
and click.
indie games now, point and click. And then there's like the walking simulator genre of which Gone Home and
Firewatch.
Firewatch are the best examples, and those are like kind of like
Tacoma.
You're just walking around, but you're in Tacoma, and you're solving a mystery in a cool environment and kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Those are all my favorite games from the last several years.
Yeah,
I like
that's a lot
them
of
more than the AAA game.
More recently, a game that IGN gave a 10 is Celeste. And that's another 2D platforming pixelated game.
Undertale also.
There's also Undertale. I
Got a
actually
10.
I haven't played that one.
I haven't
But I
either.
know people love Undertale.
Yeah, my
Stardew
son has
Valley?
watched the whole game on YouTube. He's never played it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, he watches it over and over
Yeah,
again.
that's like they take off that way.
And then, Stardew Valley is sort of a Harvest Moon-like.
Yeah.
See, these companies, we're all saying likes because the companies that made those wonderful games, like,
Stopped making them.
or they make them so rarely that you can
People that
fill in
grew
the
up
gaps.
loving them said, screw it, I'll make it myself.
It's such a
And then
cool
they
thing
spent
with that.
7 years of their life and went into bankruptcy to make this one game, and then they crossed their fingers that it turns out okay. In the case of Stardew Valley, it did.
And Undertale's an Earthbound like, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something
I mean,
like
it's
that.
its own thing and it's very humorous.
Very
No,
pixel
Fez is also a fantastic game. It was maybe one of my favorite indie games of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about games
Figuring
with
out
good
that
soundtracks,
language.
man. Fez.
This is a pixelated 2D platformer where you can rotate the world. And
Yeah.
I would call it more of a puzzle game.
Okay, but it's still like 2D.
It's a
Sure.
it's a 2D game
Lots
with
of
puzzle
jumping.
elements.
They're definitely in the same.
Is The Witness an indie game?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. That's a good game.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Also a 10. All right, one more email this week. This is from Joseph, and he says, love the show, listen every week. I'm 27 and work a boring office job.
Oh, no.
And listening to you guys during the day makes time go faster.
Nice.
I just purchased the PS4 God of War bundle. This is my first PlayStation ever. I've had Xbox Live for 12 years. I know that world well. However, now I'm in uncharted territory.
Nah.
And I feel overwhelmed and want to experience the core PlayStation games. For Xbox, this would be games like Halo, Gears of War, Fable, and Forza. What are the absolute core games I need to play to feel like I understand the PlayStation platform?
I had to do this once when I bought my first PlayStation 2, like
So what
way
did you
late
do?
into the game.
When you bought your PlayStation
Played
2?
Metal Gear Solid 4 and Uncharted 1, which are like wasn't great. Oh no, that
3,
was
you
for
mean?
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
3, yes. Yeah.
So back then you were like, you checking out Metal Gear and Uncharted.
But now there's better versions of both those games, so it's totally worth doing.
That's true. That's actually true.
You got to get Uncharted.
Uncharted. So do you think the bundle, the trilogy, or just go with 4?
Well, it's tough.
Why not both?
We were just talking about
Well,
this.
yeah.
on-
I just know if you were what to play first.
Well, so the tricky thing is Uncharted 1 is the worst Uncharted game, but they are,
But
you
still
know,
not a bad game.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they directly, like, you can't start with 4. You just can't. Like, they directly
agree.
feed into one
Yeah,
another.
it's
So.
true. Yeah, I'd say like 4 is definitely the best experience.
Play
but
1
those
first.
games, more than maybe other video game series,
Yeah.
are closely tied together, and they're like character payoffs that you get at 4 that you
And
won't
yeah,
appreciate unless you've played all of them.
so blast through 1 with the understanding that it's like a 7.5 or an 8, whereas the rest of the games are, 9s and 10s, in my opinion.
yeah, that's true. Last of Us Remastered,
Yeah.
PS4. Like we were saying earlier, that's the PlayStation community absolutely loves that game.
Get you some knack if you really want that PlayStation experience.
He's only 27.
well, okay.
He doesn't have a kid that he's going to play Knack through with.
Well, I mean, I bought it mostly because
Or maybe
like, I
he
needed
does.
a game
I don't
on
know.
launch day.
I should
hey, this
assume
Knack.
this 27.
And then there's the whole that game company games
Journey,
through Journey.
Oh yeah.
Those are.
Flower.
What about Loco Roco? You gotta play Loco Roco.
Yeah.
You do.
I was going to say Persona 5.
Yeah.
PlayStation exclusive
Greatest JRPG
Patapon?
of all time.
JRPG. I don't know if he should play Patapon or
I'm
not.
trying to think of the
But I
most
should
PlayStation.
definitely play Horizon Zero Dawn.
Danganronpa.
That's on PC.
Rampa. No, he's got to play Horizon Zero Dawn, right? That's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
big exclusive from last year, open world, dinosaur robots. And then Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
re-released on PS4.
Luminous.
PlayStation Classic. Well, wait
that's
for that
coming
one.
out
That
on
one's coming
everything,
back.
too, on
but
Switch.
coming
That's
out
cool.
and everything.
It's not my taste, but I would say, Bloodborne.
I was going to say, yeah. I know people love Bloodborne. It doesn't really click with me, but people love Bloodborne.
Well, the interesting thing about Bloodborne, I don't know if this is just localized to our office, but I've talked before about how esteem for like a game like Red Dead Redemption has climbed over time. Like
Yeah.
Bloodborne came out strong. Like, everyone's like, this is great. This is the best Souls game. And I feel like as time has gone on, its reputation has only grown and grown, and people seem to kind of be enjoying it and appreciating it more and more, which is interesting to see. Like, it's now pretty commonly, widely considered the best Souls-like game there is.
Yeah, that's really true. Man, I need to play it. Did you play it?
No.
Did you play it?
I did.
What'd you think?
It's not really my type of game, but it's
So-
also a game that I can super appreciate.
Do any of the Souls games?
I keep trying. I'm waiting for
Yeah,
them
that's
to
what I'm
click.
doing too.
I try each one, and I'm still like, nope, still not for me.
Much as you're not trying enough.
Yeah.
You got to keep trying.
Not hard enough.
That's why I played Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm like, life is too short for me to for me to put more time into this one. I appreciate it from afar,
With Detroit coming out, do you need to play like Heavy Rain?
I don't think so.
and I really loved Heavy Rain. I loved, and what was the other one?
Beyond Two Souls.
I loved Beyond Two Souls.
Wow.
Too. I feel like I'm the only person on earth that really adored that game.
And those were PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, those are exclusives. Yeah, I don't care for those games though. But to cover off on the racing series, I guess he's got to play one of the Gran Turismos. I don't know what the best one or most recent one is. Didn't one come out last year?
yeah, and then there's the spin-off, the
Sport
GT
came
Yeah.
out last year.
That
So
was
Sport, I haven't been following it. It had a shaky launch because it had a bunch of online only stuff, and it was kind of light on game modes. But then I think that they fixed some of that over time. Like they Ubisoft it, as we call it now, and stuck with the game and sort of cleaned it up. But I don't know. I haven't been paying.
What about your Ratchet and Clanks and Sly Coopers?
Oh.
Yeah, most recent Ratchet and Clank's really good.
But it's also hard to know. Like, I don't know where. Like, is Sly Cooper trilogy on PS4?
There's a nice Sly Cooper on PS4, but I can't remember what
Are you sure they're not on PS3? Because like a
I
lot of
thought it
those
was
got
like at the end of
remastered for PS3, and I'm like, I don't even know if they made their way over
Yeah.
now. But maybe they did. I just don't know. Same with the original Ratchet trilogy.
There's a new Ratchet and Clank on PS4.
And then even though Metal Gear Solid 5 was on multiple platforms, none of the other Metal Gear Solids were, right?
That's true. Metal Gear has a long history
GameCube,
on the PlayStation.
Yeah, 1 came to GameCube. That's true.
Twin Snakes.
And then 2 and 3, well, 3 was on DS.
That's it is. I have it. It's great.
Me too. And I bought
You have to have the thumb nub.
Forgot about that.
the nub. Well, actually, now
forgot
you
about
can buy the 3DS Lite or Plus or whatever, and that has it built in, and it works with it,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Fantastic.
That's the only way.
port.
Well, no, I did play that on PlayStation a little bit back in the day. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's fun to play on the 3DS.
Well, it's an exciting time, Joseph, to be just getting into PlayStation right now.
Yeah, I'm
after
very
all this
jealous.
years. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. All right, that's going to bring us to Video Game 20 questions. Justin, do you need to be excused?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
How many
Okay.
questions can you ask before you leave?
Well, this is what I want you to do, Justin.
Okay.
Send someone in here. You pick.
Oh boy.
Send someone in here to sit in your seat.
Oh, I like this.
We'll be right back to see who Justin picked. Here comes a new challenger. Brian Altano is
What's
joining
up?
us to play
Rap,
Video
rap.
Game 20 questions. Seth, you know how this works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've listened to this podcast
Excellent.
many times. Shout out to Lish.
Shout out to who?
Yo,
My friend Lish.
Okay, I was like, wow, I don't even know who we're talking to, who we're shouting out. Our suggestion this week comes from Angelo Allen Haslip Jr.
Cool name.
Let the questioning begin.
Did Angelo say where he is from?
No.
Is that a question?
I was going to say, does that count?
It's been a minute. I don't know if you guys changed.
The rules count that one.
That would have counted too.
Seth, let's start with you.
Okay. Does the main character wear a hat?
No.
Okay.
Actually, no.
There goes Mario.
This time.
Damn it.
Mario's out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out then. That's all I know.
Is Sonic out?
Yes, Sonic doesn't wear a hat. No.
What are those things on his head?
spikes?
That's kind of a hat.
If Sonic.
Let's see. Is this a multiplayer game?
No.
Oh.
I think I know it. Did this come out before the year 2000?
Yes.
Okay. Us olds will
You
be
guys
able
know what
to.
I'm thinking, right?
No idea. No idea whatsoever.
It came out before the year 2000.
Yeah.
There's no hats involved.
And single player.
It's a single player game.
Yeah.
Was it on a Nintendo system?
No.
Oh.
So what is that? What's that narrowed down?
Was
That
it on
rules out the
Sega,
NES, Super
PlayStation,
NES.
PC, arcade.
Oh, PC. That
Master
that old
System.
question mark.
Spectrum ZX.
Atari.
You asked if it was on a Nintendo system.
Yeah, if it ever was, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we could find out if it's multi-platform. Although I don't know what that would be back then.
And besides, we only have before 2000, so it could be before 1975 for all we know. We have down the era.
Should we? Maybe we'll get another decade.
Yeah.
Was this released in the 1990s?
Yes.
Okay.
We got a decade.
Got a 90s game.
Cool. I remember the 90s.
Was this associated with an exclusive platform?
Associated.
Like associated with one platform?
Yes.
Oh.
So, maybe it is on a Sega platform then.
Okay. So like basically, was this exclusive to one?
Yeah. But it might have come out on something else, but we wouldn't have cared. Like Mega Man X came out on PC.
Right. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Makes no sense.
I think it was voted the worst place to play that game.
Yeah, it came with its own controller though. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Read this.
And let's get into some genres.
Okay. We could also just narrow down PlayStation, Genesis, or PC or whatever.
Okay.
But we could do genres first.
It's up to you. Yeah, this is all you.
No, it's not. If we lose this, it's definitely not on me. Was this on a Sega platform?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
Was it 16-bit?
Yes.
Okay. So Sega Genesis game with no hats.
Exclusive to
Single player.
Sega Genesis.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis. with no
Sounds like
hats.
Comic Zone, which is what I was going to from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm thinking Echo. Echo the Dolphin.
Echo.
We didn't ask about hands.
I was Echo once when we played Who Am I? And I asked if I could cross the street. And they just started laughing and I got it right away.
when you said I was Echo once, I thought you were talking about like Halloween.
Yeah.
I was like, you were a dolphin for Halloween? That's weird. No, video games are not. Like that's just odd. Man. Okay. I
would love. I'm
is
still
ooh.
picturing. Are you dressed as a dolphin? I'm Echo the dolphin.
I haven't.
Not a dolphin.
Didn't know.
It's the tides of time, mother effers. Do you Do you attack things in this game?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
What does that eliminate? I just want to
Racing.
sports games, right?
Or sports racing.
It's not that talking football game that everybody liked.
Yeah.
Joe Montana Sports Talk Football?
Yes, but it could still be NHL '94.
You know, they took out the blood in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they didn't take out the fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still attack things.
I don't know if is that an attack? It's kind of an attack. It's
Uh,
legal though.
Is this
legal
based
attack.
on a license?
No.
Ooh.
That's 10.
That's 10
Okay.
questions. Okay.
Ooh.
This is an original
Crunch time.
game. You don't attack things. You don't wear hats.
You
Does-
do attack.
No hats.
You do attack
Does it
things.
matter if
do
it's
attack.
made in Japan or not? Or they're all made in Japan at that point, right?
Yeah.
Except for Comic Zone.
Is it part of a franchise?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
So Decap Attack.
This is a game that was so good that it never got another.
Beyond Oasis.
Yeah. This could be. I mean, when was like?
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Does that count as being part of a franchise?
I think it might. It's on the Sonic collection.
That's kind of part of a franchise. That's the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise.
Extended Bean Universe.
Yeah.
Everything,
DCU.
everything else that had the Bean Beans.
Okay. Oh man. Is this a side-scrolling game?
Yes.
Ooh.
So this is not. It's not like Toe Jam and Earl or anything like that, because that's
Those are
there's
top
like
down.
three of those,
top
yeah.
down. There's 3 of those. Yeah. One.
There's
I
hats.
think we're getting there.
There's hats. There are definitely hats.
It's not Beyond Oasis.
No. And they made a bunch of echoes. What? No. What? You can't just say the name. First of all, they made like 80 Double Dragons. It wasn't platformers.
It's okay. It's okay, Grace. Thank you for your help. Is this have a? Would you call this a? I'm trying to narrow down the games I've already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play as a skeleton?
No.
All right.
Is it all? I mean, did Altered Beast get sequels? Kind of. Yeah, it did, right?
I don't think
No,
so.
Altered Beast was.
But it was in arcades.
Mm.
Do you rise from your grave in this game?
No.
Oh man.
Um,
Do you think it's Comic Zone?
yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Do you think it has? Does it have a cartoony art style?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's 15.
Okay. Does it have like a zone-like style? Cartoony art style. Okay. Well, I mean, so it's a cartoon. Is it Rystar? Remember that game?
Yeah.
I'm not actually asking. I'm asking my boys.
I was thinking about Rise Star too, but I was confused because I think we're thinking of it maybe a different game because I thought Rise Star was the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. They made some platformers.
Yeah.
Some
I mean, we're
Genesis-
just stalling. It's definitely Comic Zone, but
You think so?
yeah.
It's not Echo. They made a bunch of Echoes. Really
Is there
think
a
it's
comic book style to this game?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's different than a cartoon style.
Yeah. Why didn't you ask that the first
Does
time?
it take place in a zone?
Yeah, I guess so.
How far do you want to push this? I think is it Comic Zone?
Yes.
I thought you were gonna ask.
Did we say that on a question? Did I make that as the joke for the thing I thought it was?
Yeah.
Well, you said it very early on.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's Comic Zone.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna
That's
ask.
why I was like, wow,
What the heck?
I hope they actually come
How
back
did you
around
keep
to
a
that.
straight face.
You were getting so close
Done this a
too.
few
You were
times.
like,
'Cause I think
are
we
there 2
had-
words in the title? Is one of them spelled wrong? Or have a letter X in it?
That's really interesting.
1995. So kind of later in the 16-bit era. But you were going to ask, is it made in Japan? I would have said yes. I think it
Yeah,
is. I think it is just made in Japan.
That's why
Even though it has a very like Western
I-
comic book art style.
I
Oh,
don't
that's a
think
Japanese game?
It's just made by Sega.
Oh,
so-
weird. I had no
Sega
idea.
Internal. I'll have to look it up, but
Yeah.
I thought it was made by this company in Arizona. That's why I was associating with that. But now I'm thinking that's a different comics dumb game for NES. And it's by Wisdom Tree.
Comics.
It was Wisdom Tree or somebody else. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Is it an unlicensed game?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on like fake comics.
Yeah, it's called like Comic Guy. I'll show
I thought
you.
Wisdom Tree
It's really
made
silly.
all those Bible games.
Yes, they did. And then they had another label that made.
Really?
Like,
Their secular label?
Yeah, their secular label.
Didn't they make like an
Something related.
Operation Desert Storm game?
There is an Operation Desert Storm game. Yeah, that's a license. Maybe they made that one too.
I guess there's an unlicensed one. I was just reading about it
From
today.
the Bible guys?
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's a weird portfolio.
Camerica might be the same company. I'm trying to think of. I haven't thought about this in a long time. I'll figure it out.
Thank you for the suggestion, Angelo Allen Haslip Jr.
Great name.
Before we say goodbye to you, Brian, what are you playing right now, or anything you can share with us?
Let's see. I mean, I just wrapped God of War, so I'm jumping back into that. I've been doing some stuff with Labo. I put out a video on Twitter of just me making a beat.
Yeah, the piano.
with it. It's a
Check that out.
surprisingly
It's really cool.
sophisticated. Thanks. Surprisingly sophisticated, and I'm just playing some Switch stuff. So yeah, check me out on NVC talking about the weird indie games coming to that platform.
I tried out. I did the robot game thing with Labo. It's
Oh, really?
like, actually pretty fun.
Oh, cool. I haven't
just
tried that
like
one.
mess around with. Yeah.
You wore the full.
Yeah, you're a full suit. It's kind of like they should make a kaiju Godzilla game with that.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
knocking down buildings. It's just like dumb fun.
I
And
mean,
it
my
makes
big.
you feel a little clunky too.
Yeah, it's totally clunky.
I had a
It's
great
still
time
fun.
building all that stuff, and now it's all done. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with it because you can't gift it to anybody because it's worthless without the software. And half the fun is building it. So I just have a bunch of stuff that I'll bring into work and just leave somewhere and hope no one sees.
Well, in like 5 years, dig it out.
Yeah, take it all apart, put it back together.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, I think I have Rock Band equipment somewhere still.
Yeah, I think was my worry that this would be cardboard versions of that. It's actually the first peripherals I've seen in a very long time that are made in America.
Oh, wow.
Are you?
No,
That's
not
the joke.
No, no. In that, like, I think we're cool with just tearing down the trees and building some pianos here.
Oh, heck yeah.
Did you know Mega Man hipsters are trying to say Mega Man 5 is the best one now?
What? When did this? What?
Weren't you there for that?
No,
He wasn't paying attention.
This is a Ryan Scott joint.
This really?
Yeah.
He was trying to convince me. He's like, it's underrated. You got to play it.
It may be underrated.
He said if it came out instead of Mega Man 3, it'd be Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 5 would be everyone's favorite Mega Man
It does
game.
have some
Really?
cute Rush moments.
I think we're conflating underrated with best ever.
No,
Like,
this is
that's
he
kind
was-
of a leap.
He made a strong case
Well, he's a
because
dope.
he just kept saying it over and over again.
he's
Mega
an
Man
idiot.
5. Mega Man 5.
I love that boy,
Mega
but
Man
come on,
5.
he ain't right in the head.
All right, that's all the scoops that we have for you this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Justin.
Pleasure.
My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop. We're out.